Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to another fun and rousing edition of AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get started, as always, the show is brought to you by Smart Mark Video. Make sure you pick up all of the AIW shows at Smart Mark Video right now, including the one that we will talk about on this show. We also want to give a shout-out to our sponsors at Angelo's Pizza. Make sure you pick up an award-winning Angelo's Pizza on Madison Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio. And, of course, big thanks to Jack Prince, who takes care of all of our printing needs. Make sure they take care of yours as well, along with logos, signs, graphics, and any sort of apparel needs that you have. Head to jackprince.com.
That's J-A-K Prince.com.
That's right. And that voice that you just heard, of course, is Chandler Biggins, one of the owners of AIW. We're sitting here alongside him and John Thorne, the other owner of AIW.
I am here. Hopefully I did an okay job last week.
My name is Steve Guy. We're happy to have you along. Today we are going to talk about the most recent of the AIW shows, the Season of the Witch. This was one of our recent shows that was held off the normal site over at Tequila Jack's in Menor on the Lake, Ohio, this past October, and it was quite the affair, as it always is at Tequila Jack's.
And people are always fascinated how we name the shows. And because it was the holiday season, I'm not really much of a horror buff, but Mr. Thorne is, so he got to pick this one.
Yeah, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is one of the greatest movies of all time ever made.
Never seen it.
Had to pay homage to it.
I tried to watch Freddy vs. Jason last night. It wasn't happening.
Tom Atkins, baby. One of the greatest actors of all time.
If you had watched...
also starred Night of the Creeps. That'll be an AIW show one day.
Night of the Creeps?
Yeah.
Who would be on a Night of the Creeps show right now off the top of your head?
Everybody that goes to the after party.
Just a card full of matches with the Weird World?
Anybody that goes to a school parking lot.
I'm going to have to make my unretirement again for that show. King
Well,
of the Creeps.
Let's kick off this talk. There were some newcomers to the AIW card in this show, but the show did feature everybody's favorite, the Laredo Kid, which means we more than likely have another exciting Laredo Kid story.
Before we get to that, you know, these Tequila Jack shows, like, I personally like them because they're kind of like, I don't want to call them house shows, but they give us the opportunity to do like a little bit of a looser format and try some different things and try to book some people that normally we couldn't, you know, feature on a regular Mount Carmel show or something like that. So we kind of try to give these shows at Tequila Jack's, they're about, you know, an hour outside of Cleveland. We try to give them kind of a different vibe, like a more, you know, a fun kind of party vibe, try different guys out, and, you know, and see if they impress some people.
Definitely a more student-oriented show.
Well, it's, you know, and that's the thing is, like, with them, same thing. We can't really put a lot of those guys on every Mount Carmel show, you know? Like, if we could, we would, but, you know, we're fully aware that if we're just shoving just our students down everyone's throats, people aren't going to like that. You know, people aren't going to be buying the DVDs and the MP4s and stuff like that. So we're conscious of trying not to be overbearing with, you know, hey, these are our students, you know, they're doing good, because people, you know, as much as they want new talent, they want to hate everything new at the same time,
right? Because
it's the unknown. So these bar shows kind of give us an opportunity to give them better experience, because, you know, most of the time, if they even make it on a Mount Carmel show, for the most part, until they get established, you know, they're doing scrambles and, you know, multi-man matches and stuff like that. This kind of, you know, this format kind of lets us feature them more and put them in more traditional kind of learning, you know, situations, you know, singles matches, tag team, regular tag team matches. So, you know, it's good for them. It also kind of helps the school kind of, you know, keep going, because, you know, they are getting these opportunities, they are getting to wrestle. And it's kind of crazy, since Johnny Gargano left, it seems like we've gotten double the amount of students.
Yeah, we almost have to run 2 classes now, people have already asked.
Yeah, it's because, I mean, we've probably had, I don't know, 10 people sign up in the last month, which is insane. It's a good problem to have, but, you know, at the end of the day, these guys are going to wrestling school because they want to be wrestlers and they want to wrestle. So
I thought they went to wrestling school to be the guy who sold the pizza or the merchandise.
Put the ring together.
Go get the go buy the beer.
Professional U-Haul driver.
U-Haul driver, ring crew. hang up posters at the fucking venue that cover the windows up so fans can't look in line.
that is a major issue every time.
That is a major job to have if you're an AIW student. You got to hang posters up over the window so fans can't look in. But
learning how to put wristbands on, which there's a huge learning curve.
Oh, selling beer tickets, big learning curve on the the cash exchange.
50-50 raffles is like a puzzle.
50-50
Figure
raffles.
it out.
No, not good at. They're not good at the 50-50
Like a magic
raffle.
eye poster.
Big learning curve finding a student that actually has a car that can go buy things for us, like
or
ice.
a car that could go on the freeway.
Oh yeah, some don't have cars that can go on freeways. Some don't have cars that can hold ice long enough because they have the
No
heat.
air conditioning.
They have to have the heat on running at all
Well,
times.
this show already getting off the rails, and since we're talking about cars and students with cars, what about when you have a student who has a car, like a Season of the Witch, and he finds out for the first time that he has a car alarm?
No, it's not a car alarm that was set off. So we have a student. We won't name him.
We're gonna name him. His name is.
Okay, we're gonna name him.
This story may offend some people, so if you get offended easily, please mute the next 3 to 5 minutes.
So he finds a nice gal at the Tequila Jack's bar.
He didn't know her previously.
No.
Oh.
And she wants to know
I don't
more.
think she was there for wrestling. I don't know. I could be mistaken. I think she might have just been a Tequila Jack's regular.
Because there was a lot of Tequila Jack's people that came in, and they're like, what is going on? And I'm like, wrestling. Tickets are $20. And they're like, okay. So there was like a whole side of the bar that was just like Tequila Jack's regulars. There was one couple, an older couple, that showed up because they had seen an ad on Yelp, my favorite app. They saw a review on Yelp and went to Tequila Jack's. This is a true story. But
I thought they were reviewing AIW
Yeah, I was
concession
like,
stand.
No.
Yeah, W is
no,
on
no,
Yelp.
no.
This is amazing.
They were on a date, like a date night for like a couple in their like 50s or 60s, and they decided to go to Tequila Jack's in Mentor on the Lake, Ohio.
Date night, men are on the lake.
Yeah, for
Pro
their
wrestling.
90-minute fried appetizers. So, anyways, we hear this alarm.
That was
go-
that was a little bit of vengeance you had, man.
What is there?
That was too long of a wait. John Taffer would not be happy. So, anyways, we hear this alarm going off, and we're like, is somebody breaking into a car or something? And it was in the back where the workers park their cars, and it is just going on and on and on, sirens and sirens. We discovered that he didn't even know he had this, but it's an anti-theft alarm that almost every car has, that if you shake a car so violently, it goes off. It's not a car alarm per se, but
Do you think that may be also like an earthquake alarm
yeah,
of some
probably.
sort?
Like it would go off in an earthquake. I'm assuming. I don't know anything about cars. This is what I was told by a mechanic on site.
There was a mechanic on site.
There was
mean,
a
hey-
mechanic at the show, and he explained this to me.
Another good job if you're a student is to be a mechanic because myself and Chandler Biggins don't know anything about cars.
We once had Portia Perez once had to fix our radiator fluid.
Yeah, because I don't know anything about that shit.
Oh, it's the rad fluid.
So what you're saying is that car was shaking tremendously, and the alarm went off.
And he didn't stop. He was just railing away like a freight train. Pardon the pun, man scout. But the freight train is coming down the track, and the alarm is going off, and it doesn't stop because he doesn't think it's his car. He thinks another car in the parking lot is.
I just realized I'm probably going to bleep the person in question's name just in case he has a wife or anything like that.
I don't think he's.
You never know, though.
You never know. He might have
He
a
might
wife.
have two
He might
girlfriends.
have many children somewhere.
He might have many girlfriends. He might have a wife. He might, So he's gonna be anonymous. This is gonna be a little bleep ski.
Okay.
He was wearing a Guy Fawkes mask. He was anonymous.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't
man.
either. Yeah.
That was a good.
It's
It's
the anonymous
It'd
group.
be like the time
The
I had
anonymous group.
Periphery right, and you fucking
Oh,
You
I'm
call-
still fucking
He had
hearing about
periphery
that.
right. Yeah. I told him that was a word.
everybody.
Oh,
on Twitter
you and
told-
every fucking buddy else with a Twitter account.
I was like, hey, yeah, it's a word.
Listen, here's gonna be my rant, people. Twitter. If you're around Chandler Biggins for more than the 40 minutes that we do this show, you would know that he mispronounces 90% of the fucking things that he says. So much so that a lot of people theorize that he does it on purpose. So that word, periphery, that I am not familiar with because I'm not not much of a man of the literature.
I think it was just used on WWE recently as well, and I thought
I haven't watched WWE since the fucking Ruthless Aggression era.
Maybe I saw it on Ryback's Word of the Day Snapchat.
So, for me to call him out on all the things he mispronounces was justified amongst people that know him and listen to him talk this fucking nonsense.
Periphery, I was right. Just admit it.
One time you were right. 1 out of 1,000,000 times. I'm trying to think of something he mispronounces all the time.
See, you can't even think of it.
Wow, it's a great segue. So back into the card of the Season of the Witch.
It still bothers me he says macaronis and cheese.
Because it's not just one macaroni, it's macaronis.
It is called macaroni and cheese.
Tor.
No,
you fucking, that's not how you say it.
So on this card,
pissing me off already.
We talked about
Let's not talk about the show. Let's just have a fucking debate
about Chandler.
No, we gotta have the debate in a couple weeks when we get Tom Dunn and the Potato together.
That's right.
Oh yeah, man. I want people to really, really get on those guys on Twitter about their Sean versus Brett-esque.
This is the next show here.
Who needs Hillary and Trump? We're gonna have 2 independent wrestling referees going at it.
From what I understand, Potato ripped out a part of Tom Dunn's scalp. He had some of his hair in his hand.
Tom Dunn had hair to rip out at this point.
Yes, is part of his mustache.
Oh, really? Facial hair.
Yes.
Flavor saver.
Oh,
Potato's a scrappy guy.
Oh, I could see that easily.
Well, speaking of Potato, you brought up the Laredo Kid earlier.
Yeah.
And that's Potato's best friend.
That's right.
Oh yeah. Potato is 100% the personal assistant of the Laredo Kid when he's in Cleveland, Ohio.
So I'm the AIW students show up with the ring at Tequila Jack's.
Yeah.
And then I'm the next one there, but they said, oh, we walked wherever in the park, because it's like in a shopping lot or
yeah, it's like
lot.
a Giant Eagle grocery store there.
Yeah, like a strip mall or whatever. So they went to a Chinese buffet, and I go, well, I'll wait for you guys. So I'm waiting there.
Our fucking students really reading the labels, man. They go to the fucking Chinese buffet. Roland Alexander would be fucking disappointed.
Yeah, there's not even labels there.
They don't even have labels to read at the Chinese buffet.
You don't even know what it is half the time, what you're slopping.
These fucking guys got to perform later in the night. I was so pissed when I heard this.
That's a lot of MSG going in those veins.
The whole fucking crew of them. They go to the fucking buffet for hours.
And they made Frankie Flynn sit by himself.
Oh, poor Frankie.
Poor guy.
Well, he's an eccentric.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting around for these guys, and I was checking my phone because we weren't allowed to get in at this point from Tequila Jack's because every time we show up, they remodel the place.
Oh, man, fucking, I don't know where they get the money, but they
Does
remodel
look nice.
the fuck out of that
It
place.
looks nice now.
They remodel it, I'll just say that. So
It looks
anyways,
like a fucking country western saloon. What kind
did
of places are you going to?
how many country western saloons just nail pallets to the wall and say they're done?
It's not a pallet, dude. They look like a saloon.
No, where's the
Yeah.
fucking wagon wheel or the bull's head?
This is the wood thing. It's in.
That
right
was
now.
wood grain, dude.
No, that's pallet. They nailed.
What
to
do
the
you
wall.
know about wood?
Hey man, I'm from the country.
Yeah.
Okay, just because you fucking got a lake in your fucking backyard or whatever.
Hey man, I get down with a line dance once in a while. Watch that wedding footage.
You probably never went to that teenage dance club, the Boot Scootin' Saloon, back in the day.
Oh yeah.
No, I didn't. I missed that UWC show.
But you've never been to the,
I went there on a date when I was 17 with Christy King.
the Dusty Armadillo. You probably never been there either.
No.
That's out your way.
So, anyways,
We're getting really off fucking
Sure
topic.
are.
yeah. So we show.
I just am upset about this guy judging the decor of Tequila Jack's. I thought it looked nice.
I thought it looked nice too.
It was okay.
It looked nice. How many bars you going to?
I'm not a big bar guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, there you go.
as we learned last week, you're a big mango tea guy.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there waiting for everybody to come back, and all of a sudden I see Laredo Kid and Potato, and they walk up to my car.
Laredo and Potato, man. That's
Laredo
a
and
fucking,
There
that's
you
a,
go.
That's a reality show.
Yeah, right there.
Some Spanish-speaking channel needs to make.
So Potato comes to my car and he meets up with me and we're talking about something. All of a sudden I just see Laredo bolt away, like
mid disappearance.
just disappears.
And as you'll find out in a moment, this isn't the first of the day.
And Potato runs and goes to stop him and goes, "Where are you going, man?" He goes, "I told you in the car. I want the cheap snacks."
Loves the snacks, man.
Cheap snacks.
Cheap snacks.
He was gonna go get a hot and ready from Little
The
Caesars.
peso is down, man.
Yeah, it is.
The peso's down, so he's trying to.
He's trying to get one of those $5 hot and readies.
Oh yeah, like I don't know how this guy looks the way he does, man. He wants.
He's in great shape.
He
yeah.
I mean, it's the Laredo Boot Camp. If anybody's friends with him on Facebook, I think the guy runs his own gym called Laredo Boot Camp. He just flips tires with his
In
mask
Laredo,
on.
Texas.
and he just wears his mask and he just flips fucking tires all the time. But this guy looks great, and he just wants to kill some. Dude, you know what I fucking look like if I ate a fucking hot and ready? Gary from Smart Mark Video gave me one piece of crazy bread. It felt like I gained 15 pounds right there. This guy is fucking Laredo boot camp going right for the fucking hot and readies.
So then Potato and him end up wanting to kill time because Laredo just doesn't want to hang out in this country western bar. Probably looks like every bar in Texas.
Sure.
So he goes.
That was racist towards Texas, I think.
Country western,
It was-
western theme.
It's Texas.
Texas.
Well, I'm gonna take you guys outside to be a Texecutioner.
Oh, shout out to Jay Hinkle.
Tapout.com. So Laredo Kid and Potato went to the mall.
Chuck Solomon, shout out, dude.
They went to the mall
P-Fresh
and
is gonna
just
like
hung
that.
out all day like they were teenagers.
At Great Lakes Mall
At Great
in
Lakes
Mentor,
Mall.
Ohio.
Yeah, Laredo Kid and Potato just hanging out at the food court.
Hot Topic, doing all the fucking
Yeah.
teenage shit.
Laredo built a bear.
No, we didn't.
No, I don't think so.
That would have been amazing.
I don't think they were too expensive.
Yeah, he didn't build a bear. They hung out in the arcade.
Oh.
The
Potato-
shitty little arcade that they have in
Potato
malls.
said he left some flyers at the Suncoast video there, and they
There's no way there's a Suncoast video there.
no.
There's a family video right next to Tequila Jack's.
There is a video store next to
Yeah.
Tequila Jack.
Family video.
And rumor has it the Duke went to the porn section. Just leaving that out there.
Well,
The Duke, obviously a man that doesn't know you can get free porn on the internet still.
I will say,
I
so
saw Duke with a bag of VHS tapes at one point.
Jeff Cobb was on this card.
We're not done with Laredo yet, okay?
I was just gonna say Jeff Cobb was he was very enthralled the fact that there was a family video in existence when we pulled in.
This is Ohio, brother. This is in California.
Yeah, this is in California, man.
So
Physical media lives here.
So Laredo Kid spends his day at the mall
At the mall, right?
With Potato.
with Potato.
So fast forward to the show's getting ready to. The show is starting, right?
Right.
Like, it's first match is going on. Gringo Loco runs up to me. He goes, dude, it's happening. I was like, what is happening? I
You're
thought,
thinking like a disaster or something.
yeah,
right?
man, I'm thinking, fucking some real cowboys just showed up at Tequila Jack's and some shit's about to go down.
And they want to know where their pallets were.
He's like, it's happening. I was like, what? He goes, come with me. He goes, Laredo's in mid-disappearance. I caught him. And off into the distance, the sun is setting. And there goes Laredo just walking into the abyss of nothing. I have no idea where he's going. I snapped a couple pictures. I put it on Twitter that night. He's just mid-disappearance. Gringo Loco had an eye on him all night because he wanted to catch the disappearing
wanted to see
himself.
Mid-disappearance.
Yeah, like I think part of him, didn't believe that the Laredo Kid just disappears without any notice. He caught a mid-disappearance. This guy is just in the middle of this parking lot of this shopping center, going towards no stores. Like
No. He was headed to Mark's. The only thing on that side is the Mark's.
okay, maybe he's going to Mark's. I
They
don't know.
wanted some deep discount prices.
But Mark's, for the people that listen around the world don't know, is a discount grocery store chain in Ohio.
No, it's like just a store.
It's discount
Well, it's
grocery
a discount,
store.
but it's
Yeah.
not a grocery store.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
they got-
groceries there.
Well, they have groceries, but it's not a full grocery
Produce.
store. They got clothes. They got all
Yeah, they
sorts
got
of stuff.
all
Yeah.
sorts of shit. But
I would say it's like a Walmart.
okay.
No.
It's not a Walmart.
It's like a smaller version
It's
of a Walmart.
Smaller version of a Walmart, but they have a pharmacy. They have clothing. They have
Well, that's like
bedding.
a grocery store has a pharmacy.
They have
a DIY. They have sporting goods.
oh,
They don't have all of that.
dude.
They do.
No.
But I'm gonna go Vine video
it's-
of Mark's right now.
Okay,
I'm
let's not
All
argue
right.
about Mark's. Okay, it's not a Walmart. It's like a fucking shittier version of Aldi's. If people know what Aldi's is,
way,
I hope
Yeah,
they
I-
do.
don't-
way less groceries and way more stuff though.
No,
It's
they
a
got a lot of
variety.
groceries.
They got
dude.
they got quite a few groceries.
5 aisles out of 30.
Wow, tons of
Oh,
stuff.
dude.
So much groceries
Okay,
there.
everybody go to my Vine right now, and I'll do 6
Can't
seconds.
go to Vine anymore.
Oh, it's still around for a little bit.
So I don't
Just
know
kidding.
where Laredo's going. This is really getting off fucking
Yeah.
on a tangent.
Well, no one ever knows where Laredo's going. I think was the point.
So he disappears. I snap a couple of pictures. An hour passes by. I see Laredo Kid. I go, Laredo, where'd you go, man? You disappeared. He goes, Chinese food. And that was it. That was it. That was all he said to me. He got some. He just like the fucking students
Also
went
good.
and hit the fucking Chinese buffet, but he went alone with his mask on.
Do you trust him more going there though with all the flippy shit that he's gonna do? He's got to know his system, right?
It's fueled on MSG, brother.
He's got to know that that's either gonna be
Here's
good or
the thing:
bad.
none of our students are doing the Laredo boot camp tire
that's
flips.
true.
So, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, he fucking disappeared and he went to the Chinese buffet by himself.
If you're one of the people that run the Chinese buffet and you see this guy come in a lucha mask, what do you think?
I would think he was a burglar, but apparently this is
No, they loved it.
yeah. This just happens. He just goes with the mask on.
He signs autographs. They don't even know. They just realize he's something.
That's a Teddy Hart move.
Hey, funny how 2 weeks after a broken leg, he's just back working.
Oh.
There we go again.
All right. So we talked about the students get to wrestle a lot on this this card.
Oh, and we had a student debut.
We had quite a
7
few.
foot tall.
I was gonna say that was next. We already mentioned. Well, we mentioned Jeff Cobb was there, but he's been in here before. Student wise, we had Dr. Dan was on the show against
versus the debuting Man Scout.
the Man Scout. That's what I was gonna say because you mentioned Man Scout in your story about somebody
Freight
setting
trainer
off the
girl.
car
Man
alarm.
Scout has. I don't think more people have suggested that we book Man Scout ever.
Kevin Steen, now Kevin Owens. That was a big guy he put over.
He loves Jake Manning.
Colt Cabana.
Loves him. Like so many people are like, book this guy, book this guy, book this guy, and like he's been trying to get on for so long, and it's just you can't book everybody sort of thing. But like I said, these shows we can kind of do whatever. And he had sent me an email, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in Ohio, blah blah blah. You know, can I do a show?" And we're like, "Yeah, man, sure, let's do it." And we thought him and Dr. Dan would be a perfect fit.
Yeah. They brought out their literature during the middle of the match or the beginning of the match, reading it to each other.
Jake Manning, the Man Scout, I could not believe got a "please come back" chant. I'm not even trying to sound disrespectful. I just couldn't believe that.
They loved
Yeah,
it.
because like we've brought in like I don't want to call him like a gimmick performer, but like a kind of like more of a character than a normal
Sports
wrestler.
entertainer.
A sports entertainer. We've brought that type of person in before, and if it works, it works. If not, it bombs horribly.
Tracy, Psycho, Smasher, Southern, Sellout, Psycho, Smothers.
No, that's a home run.
So we had the Man Scout, and then the very next match, we had another AIW
Well,
debut.
can I say one thing about the Man Scout?
Of course you can.
You know, all of our students are, just getting their feet wet in professional wrestling. So the Man Scout walks in with his own gimmick table, a folding table, and all the students are going, "Oh my God, can you believe this guy brought a table?" Me and Thorne is like, "This is what they do in the South, man. They come prepared." Tracy Smothers.
Do some fucking research, man.
Tracy
Take a little
Smothers-
initiative. These
Tracy
fucking guys
Smothers-
just care about the Chinese buffet. Go get a fucking gimmick table, some merch.
Go watch a Southern Memphis tape, man. All Southern performers have their own
Stop
tables.
watching fucking edge matches and go get at some fucking education.
Tracy Smothers, man.
Trade some tapes.
Tracy Smothers, I've never seen that guy without a fucking card table in his trunk.
He does, yeah. He always carries
Everywhere
it.
he goes, he brings a card table.
Last time,
Hey, John, can I just set up right here next to the streamer stand?
Him and Ricky Morton brought 2 folding tables one time to AIW.
I don't remember if it was the shebang or a different show, but I had to hold Tracy's stuff because I happened to walk up while he was getting out of his car. He had to move the card table around because he knew he wasn't going to use it, and then put it back in and everything.
he
I was
has
like,
it.
okay, this is
Got it
great.
at all times. Just
Yeah.
like the Man Scout.
He's from the South, North Carolina.
So awesome. There's your learning.
Oh, and I do want to
situation.
plug, he has a great podcast I've been listening to since he was on the show and I talked
Sure.
to him. How did this get booked? It's really funny.
This is the Man Scout.
The Man Scout,
Jake Manning.
Man Scout and another wrestler watch bad wrestling with like a guy that has nothing to do with wrestling. It's really funny. I got to put him over for that.
All right, fair enough. The next match was another student-oriented one. It was Frankie Flynn, but another AIW newcomer in Philly Collins.
Philly Collins was a star of Bachelor Party Championship Wrestling. This is 100% how he got booked. Like I said, we don't know if we can book a lot of these guys in the regular shows, but Philly Collins was the star of Bachelor Party Championship Wrestling. So we saw an opportunity, and we went full on.
And him and Frankie Flynn definitely could feud in real life over who thinks they have a more entertaining gimmick. 'Cause
Oh,
both of
absolutely.
them are 100% committed to their gimmicks.
Very competitive, very eccentric, both of them.
Yeah, both of them. Philly Collins loves to hug you.
Oh, he's a hugger. Philly Collins is he's a hugger, and he also is probably the last man on earth still believing in the airbrush.
keeps steady with the
He's
airbrush.
keeping. I mean, he probably hit that mall with Laredo and Potato and hit the airbrush stand. He is keeping airbrush alive. But I love that dude. Like, he's great.
What I appreciate about Philly Collins, his first show there, but what a lot of people don't realize is, and they're not going to know this making or watching the DVD because it doesn't make it. We have guys come out during certain points of the show, and they push shots and other drinks that Tequila Jackson's trying to sell that night, and Philly Collins was one of those guys on this night.
Yeah, so the show was going like really fast, which is what like wrestling fans and the DVD watchers love. They love a fast show. They love, I don't know. I personally never understand this. When I was just a wrestling fan, I wanted to see as much wrestling as possible. I never wanted to end.
Oh, once I got there, I wanted to be there the whole day.
So now, the kind of thought process is, people want to talk about your pacing of your card and your placement, and everybody's like a booking expert on how things should be, and things should flow like this, and a show should be this long, you should have this many matches, so the opposite thought of that is the bar that has hired us to come in and wants to sell a lot of alcohol. They want us to be there all night.
Because just, like an easy, educated guess, if you're wrestling for 4 hours instead of 2 hours, you're going to make more money. Like, that's probably a 99% guarantee.
Right. So, and, that's a lot of the times why everyone's like, man, why are your shows so long? We're selling concessions, man.
Yeah.
We're selling concessions. And
the pizza might be cold, but the money isn't.
Well, money could be cold, but it still gets used.
We're businessmen, as we discussed last week. However, going into the show, we found out we weren't too good a businessman because we were 100% broke somehow.
Whole shebang, huge draw. We did the accounting, and then we realized, man, after we paid back all the debt we had, we don't have any money.
We realized that, man, we were running all those shows so close together.
Like, it caught up.
And the whole shebang was selling a lot of tickets, and the other ones were selling okay. Well, all the money goes to one place. We weren't really tracking it. So the whole shebang paid for Girls' Night Out, paid for Bloodsport.
Against the World.
Played for Against the World.
This Menor show.
And then I go, man, I'm like, fuck, we got to be rich after this show, right? We got to be rich. How much money we got? Yeah, we got.
We're in the negative,
We owe $3,000. I said, wait, what? I said, what do you mean? I said, we just had 500 people 2 weeks ago. We had to make a killing.
More than that.
We had to make a killing. Well, we had a couple debts that we weren't really following up on. We weren't keeping track of. So going into Mentor Season of the Witch, we were pretty close to saying, like, oh, fuck, we can't do this anymore. We're 100% tapped out.
And prior to this show.
Which I know is hard for people to believe who watch that whole shebang show, but we aren't that good of businessmen as we discovered. And the thing that made it even worse is this is all during the TNA is broke stories, breaking and circulating and all that. And I'm reading that, and I'm like, oh, man, this is pretty interesting. And then I go, hey, man, how we doing on money? Not good.
And just like TNA, our credit cards stopped working because we sent Kurt Hertz, who we talked about before. Kurt Hertz on a beer run. And somehow we've had this credit card probably 6-7 years?
Yeah.
Fucking first time it's ever been. We sent him for the beer. Somehow he did something where
this fucking guy. He's a fucking IT guy. So
it shuts down our credit card. I'm on the phone with PayPal.
He's probably trying to fucking copy the chip in it or something. He's fucking nerd, Kurt Hertz.
I had to be on the phone with PayPal
Just kidding, Kurt,
over and over going, like, I need this card back. And they're like, well, sir, are all these charges yours? And they had to go back 6 months. And I'm like, yeah, Micro Center, okay. eBay this, Amazon this. Giant Eagle for $250. Yeah, that's me. Okay, we'll put your card back on.
So all this going on. Also,
I did leave Biggins stranded at Steak and Shake though.
Oh yeah,
over this credit card situation.
He bounced, and
that day at the season of the witch.
The lady keeps swiping, And because I'm like, oh, like we'll put, because we try to always, the night of the show, we'll always try to get AIW to buy at least our dinners. That's what we pay ourselves with, basically.
Yeah, fucking top of the line, dude. We're at Steak and Shake.
Steak and Shake. So Thorne bounces, and I'm like, oh, I take care of it. So I'm swiping this card. The poor lady is like, by the 5th or 6th swipe, is like, sir, your credit card is not working. So I go to my car.
I get a text that goes, hey, man, can you come back? The credit card's not working. And I just acted like I didn't see it.
No, you got back like 15 minutes later. I hadn't figured it out.
I was hoping Biggins was going to have to do a little work around the Steak and Shake.
I went to my car, and I'm just digging.
Trying to teach him a little work ethic, man.
I'm digging around in my car, and I find the $15 to cover us. And I find exactly $15 in singles and change in my car. And I go back in and go, ma'am, the bill is $15. I have $15.11. I'm like, I'm sorry about your tip. I'll get you next time.
Which, the entire time we were at Steak and Shake, I was just talking to this lady about what a big tip she's about to get.
Yeah. Well, you were offering 2 tips, but we won't talk about that.
Oh, well now. Things got aggressive at the Season of the Witch and afterwards. What about going into the show, though? We also found out, because we're in Cleveland, the Cleveland Indians had a playoff game that day. Is that the ALCS? I think even.
So this is a
plus Ohio State.
This is another problem that I don't think people realize when you're scheduling events and stuff like that. You can't plan a schedule around playoffs, a team going to the playoffs,
and especially like we talked on last episode about Mount Carmel has all the church events or weddings or basketball games or any kind of thing like that. Well, Tequila Jacks runs concerts, they run comedy shows. So like for them to give us a date, there are certain dates that they can have wrestling.
So, they give us this date, 2 months in advance or whatever it was. So it's just like, okay, yeah, man, cool. October 15th, let's do it. Well, we didn't know the Indians were going to be in the playoffs. We didn't know the Indians were going to play that day, 3 hours before the show started. And then Ohio State also has a big game at 8 p.m.
Right.
These are the kind of things that, like, the dumb obstacles that I don't think people even realize that you are forced to kind of you got to roll with it, and like so we find out we're basically broke, and then we got to go against the fucking Indians game and the fucking Ohio State game.
And usually we'll have a certain amount of money like in our accounts to like just be like a buffer between shows, like if you have to take a hit, you take a hit, because Thorne and I are at the point where we're not putting any personal dough in.
Yeah, I mean it's those days have funded the early AIW, and that's when I pretty much wasn't a fucking adult. I didn't have any responsibility. Now I have like bills, like real life adult problems that suck. So it's just kind of like, fuck, man, like what do? We can't take the hit, but we also don't want to cancel a show because people did buy tickets, so it's just kind of like, and we did have people booked and holding the date, so just kind of like, what do you do?
And like it seems like every fly-by-night operation, like I noticed we have a lot of this in like our local market, and it's everywhere in the independents, is you see these cards and it'd be 25 names on it, and you're like, in your mind you're thinking, like a fan just looking at that goes, oh my god, this is like a super card. But then me and Thorne look at it and go, this guy is this much, this guy, and the numbers don't add up.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you get to the show and those 25 names, maybe they have 13 of them. Maybe they have 5 of them. Because they go, well, we gave you this, but, the initial thing was, the fans trust that you were going to have the 25 people there. And, like, our big thing is we never want to cancel and we never want to disappoint the fans because they're the ones that support us, because we're not supporting, this on our own.
Yeah, and, like, we also don't want to cancel the talent, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because these guys, none of them work exclusively for us. It's just kind of like handshake agreement on the independents.
We were talking about Sanjay and Swoggle. A lot of times we could be booking guys as soon as we get a date, so we could be booking them 6 months out. So unless there's some huge catastrophe, like I don't think it's right to be like, well, you held this date for 6 months. Well, day of the show, we can't use you,
So it's kind of like we're facing a dilemma going into this show. Like, what do we do? You know what I mean? Like, fucking, like half of us, we're cheering for the Indians, but then the promoter half of us is kind of like, man, maybe hoping they can't pull it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know,
And
people are
praying that there's just a finish, because if they went into overtime,
Yeah.
because literally
They call
doors
it
opened,
extra innings in baseball.
Yeah.
Chandler. Yeah.
doors opened during the 9th inning,
Yeah.
and as soon as the Indians, I can't remember, did they win? Did they
They
lose?
win. Yeah, thankfully it was a day game too.
Okay, so they
but
won.
still,
Right.
but still, it's a day game at home.
Yeah.
Right.
Which everybody's going to be downtown
Well, they
drinking
won.
and
Yeah.
Literally in the next 20 to 30 minutes, the entire crowd came.
Yeah.
Because when doors opened, there was nobody there.
yeah. I mean, I remember doors are open after this Laredo Kid disappearance, you know, that I caught, and I go and I look and I go, holy shit! Like, it's time to fucking reassess my life right here and now. It was kind of like I've never felt that kind of fear in my entire life, because it's just like everything's been going so good for a while, and it's just like to walk out and see that, where like there was literally not even one row of people,
I would say probably 5 to 10 people.
and I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, holy shit. And it's just like
And
we
like
made we made that decision, like, you know, it's like, what do we do? And it's like, let's ride it out, like, let's
Because
go for it.
I said, look at the prepaid admissions. I go, there's 4 people here from that. And I go, that whole list is still to come. And, like, you know, I would say maybe 10 to 15% of pre-sales don't come, you know, for whatever reason. Like, you know, you buy tickets, you make other plans or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there's always a certain percentage that doesn't come on the sheet. But, like, it was 90% of the people weren't there yet. So I'm like, they're going to be here.
Or they bought tickets. Like, I'm thinking, like, they bought tickets and then they realized the Indians were playing, and they were like, fuck it, I'm going downtown, I'm going
Yeah.
to drink, I'm going to the game. Like,
Yeah, because this is, like, the midst of the Indians' hottest.
Oh yeah.
yeah, so it's like, fuck, man, like, what the fuck? Like, I've never felt like that. And then,
I'll tell you what reassured me, and I didn't even tell him because he almost Laredo Kid ghost after he saw the crowd.
oh, yeah, like, I'm like,
You're like, Laredo,
I'm
hold
like-
up.
I'm ready to, like, pull the plug at, like, the drop of a hat, because it's just, like, it's so, like, people don't understand, like, the stress and the, like, the burden that is to, like, it's not only the fans, but, like, you're holding people's livelihood, essentially, like, trying to pay these guys in your hands, and you know that you don't have enough money in your personal bank account to make it, right? That's stressful shit, man.
For sure. And also, like, you know, we made a big deal to the students about, like, you know, this is going to be great for you guys. It's a good showcase.
Right.
But the thing that rest assured my thing was, there's like a bar down the road, and
Biggins not
AIW.
using words right. Reassured.
Yeah, reassured, whatever.
Yeah, there you go, guys.
AIW fan Adam Laporta texted me and he goes, "Oh yeah, we're down the road. We got about 30 people here, and we're all watching the Indians game. We'll be right there." And I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, there
Thank
you
you.
go.
They were pre-gaming because they couldn't get into Tequila Jacks.
Yeah.
And Tequila Jacks charges stadium prices when,
Oh, boy.
when AIW's in
Yes.
town.
That's true.
Tequila Jacks, God love them because they book us, but they're the only place I've ever seen that does not list drink prices. That it changes. If Steve Guy goes to the bar, it's $8. Thorne goes to the bar, it's $4. I go to the bar, it's $7.
I think the Duke spent like $87 on like 5 draft beers or something like that. Like,
Well,
he was like, "Holy shit!"
There was somebody on this card that left, and their tab wasn't paid, or they left their credit card or something.
It was Eric Ryan's roommate left.
Yeah.
And they came out and they're like, "Who is this guy? He didn't pay his tab." And I call Eric Ryan, and he's like, "Yeah, you know, that's my roommate." He goes, "How much is the tab?" And they go, $147. And I was like, "Holy shit!"
We're like, "What did you order?" And he's like, "Yeah, about a 6-pack."
Everything. Well, back to the card itself, because we're running out of time, although we can go as long as
Which I
we
will
want
just say
to.
about the crowd, like, it's not WrestleMania 3, but it did fill in, and the bar was happy.
It
we were
did.
happy. Like, it's not.
And we covered our expenses.
Yeah, that's the number one thing.
Thank fucking God. Because, dude, I was about ready to just, like, disappear and fucking like vanish off the earth. I was ready to like delete my Twitter and just like go total ghost mode.
Well, one guy who you absolutely wouldn't notice whether or not he disappeared made his debut on this card. He is one of the AIW students. He was in a tag match. The 7-foot Savage, PB Smooth.
Peanut butter smooth.
Peanut butter crunchy. Wake the fuck up!
What did you think going into that? I mean, that was going to be a weird match in itself because it's he and Gary the King Baller with the Weird World.
We get this email probably about a year ago, and it says, "Hi, I'm a friend of Fabulous John McChesney, Big League John McChesney.
Shout out the Fabulous.
What's up, Fab? And I'm a rapper." Sorry.
Here we go with the entrance music, dude.
I love entrance music.
Yeah.
So he hits us up, and he's like, I'm a trainee out of Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm training with PWR in Erie. He goes, I want to come to your show, your school for more experience. And it's exactly what Britt Baker did and Alex Daniels and Joshua Singh. So we're like, yeah, come on down. This guy walks in. He's a former collegiate basketball player, and he's 7 feet tall. You could just see the money in him immediately. And then
Cha-ching.
Yeah. Cha-ching.
Not that we get anything out of it at all, to be honest.
Yeah, we don't get the 20% at Roland Alexander.
We're just looking like, oh man, that's another SmackDown comp ticket guy.
Kurt Hawkins could get his third row. This guy get a second row. So we were looking at this guy, and a famous wrestler once said after seeing this guy, he goes, "How do I buy stock in this guy? I want to be in the PB Smooth business."
Yeah, like, because I mean, the dude's money, and then he's only 24 years old.
And you talk to him, and you will not find a more intelligent. Like he's a corporate guy,
well spoken,
super
nice,
nicest dude on the planet.
Yeah, he has, college educated, corporate, like he's from the
what's a Hofstra.
Yeah, he's from the corporate world.
And then you're just going down the checklist.
You're looking at this guy and you're like, this dude is like every athlete you've ever seen on television. He's 7 foot tall, he's jacked, tattoos everywhere, and then he's just like
personality. He has the personality of like a famous athlete. Like he just has that like
he's just the nicest dude ever. And it's just like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like,
and like he comes in here, and I've never seen a guy that's more hungry. Like he just all he does is want it. He just wants it.
And like, from his first day, he's 7 foot tall. This isn't the WWE. We have a 16 by 16 ring.
Right.
There's not a lot of room for PB Smooth in that ring. But this dude, God love him, he's doing all the rolls and everything Gargano's showing him, and
lucha,
trying to do the lucha spots and the lucha drills that when Candace was running the classes, and he's jumping up on the top rope as best he can, and
the thing is like there's some times where he would fall on his face, but he would get back up and keep trying. There was no stopping this guy.
And he's one of the guys that's like, hey, who do I watch? What can I watch? Here's my match from this weekend, because he is actively wrestling elsewhere. It's not like he said we didn't get him from scratch. He just came. He wanted to get better.
Like the extra seasoning that we've been putting on people also.
And he's just one of those guys that's always like, hey man, can you watch my match? Hey, can you name me 5 wrestlers that I should watch? Like he is so such a student of the game right now.
He brings notebooks and he's like, I liked when Big Boss Man did this, but how can I make it my own? And like he'll listen to everybody. He has, he always wants input. He's the fucking man.
And just like Britt Baker, this guy's commuting from Erie, PA. It's closer, but I mean, it's still that's
2 hours.
It's still 90 minutes each way. He comes every Tuesday and Thursday. And so we wanted to give him an opportunity, and this was the perfect spot. And if you're coming to AIW shows, you've seen him just around. He's super humble and on the team. You've seen him selling beer tickets, you've seen him checking wristbands. You've seen him do all these jobs that we talked about earlier.
It's so funny because you talk about pro wrestlers being larger than life. This guy has easily done probably about every task at shows.
Yeah.
But so many AIW regulars were like, oh my God, I've seen this guy before, but I never realized how big he was when he came out oiled up in the entranceway.
Yeah, because he's just sitting down, behind a table, like selling beer tickets or selling, I think like a couple shows he was selling streamers. And
I think we put him on like magazine duty one time.
Yeah, so I mean, it was cool to be able to give him that kind of opportunity in a lower pressure situation, and kind of gradually introduce him to a bigger audience, not necessarily in the crowd, but on the DVD and in the video world, because this dude wants to make it. I've never seen somebody that wants to make it more than him.
My number one 2017 wish is him versus Hornswoggle.
Okay,
he's 7 feet tall.
You have the means to make it happen.
It's gonna happen. I'm telling you.
Well, because again, we're trying to keep this as short as possible.
We'll just do a quick thing right now.
Well,
Jeff Cobb, first time we ever met him, we booked him. A couple, just like the Man Scout, a couple people have recommended him.
Well, yeah, and we want to, as much as we want to give the students opportunities, we realize we still got to give some feature matches. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So we had the Laredo Kid versus Gringo Loco versus Triton.
And we wanted to do Ray Rowe versus Jeff Cobb because there's not a lot of places you're going to see that matchup happen.
It was incredible.
And very similar backgrounds. They were collegiate wrestlers and.
Yeah,
Jeff Cobb was in the Olympics even.
Exactly.
So, as much as these shows are about getting the students opportunity, we realize we gotta put the regular roster out there too in some interesting situations. So
we gotta get good hot tub reviews.
Yeah, shout out to the Sean 2 cents, baby. But yeah, we gotta do things to keep AIW's quality up, because you never know how the students are going to do. They could kill it at the training center, and things could go wrong when they get in front of a live crowd. So that's a match that it just happened that both guys were available, and that's something that we wanted to be the first to do, and that's the first time they ever wrestled each other.
And they were both pumped about doing that.
And they fucking went balls to the wall, and they were just like, what do you want? And I said, you guys can have as much time as you want and do whatever the fuck you want.
And they were just killing it. I didn't even see the full match because I was handling some business stuff. But, the reactions of the crowd and just what I saw, I think that match single-handedly, if you're going to blow the $9.99 to buy the MP4 or whatever, do it for that, and then the students are just the icing.
Yeah, and if you like the students, you like the students. If, you don't, you don't. But, that match, the Ray Rowe versus Jeff Cobb match is worth $9.99 alone. And then, the Laredo Kid, Gringo Loco, Triton match, those dudes were doing shit that I thought that they were going to hit their heads.
They
on the
were
ceiling.
everywhere.
It looks, sometimes when you see somebody wrestle and it looks like they're putting in so much effort, not that these guys aren't putting in effort, but the moves they're doing, it looks like they were born doing a plancha.
Yeah.
And Tequila Jack's is like a small concert club, so the ceiling it's not Mount Carmel, it's not a gym. And they're doing fucking acai moonsaults and all this crazy shit. And I was like, dude, Laredo Kid is gonna kill himself in this building.
No regard for anything around them. They knocked down a light.
They were taking down the lighting at one point.
Oh, yeah.
They're just flying.
They're just everywhere.
Yeah, they hit the lighting rig and it falls into the crowd. Luckily, somebody grabbed it before it fucking killed somebody.
And actually, one of the bright spots, as we talk about lights, but one of the bright spots and biggest moments of the entire night actually wasn't a student match. We had Kaplan and Dom Guarini.
Oh my God!
Just sitting down in the middle of the ring.
That's our mine and Biggins dream sort of indie wrestling. That old down and dirty fucking.
There's a reason why in 2007 we were pushing so hard to book Necro Butcher and Drake Younger, because they were my two favorite guys.
That just down and dirty,
and
let's hook it up and do it. And that's no disrespect to any other sort of genre or type of wrestling. It's just that's the shit that we loved, is that just fucking somewhat dangerous, maybe that's real, maybe it's not.
It's the thing that launched UFC. Why so many people cared about UFC at first is you do not know what you're going to see, and it's, we're putting a barroom brawler versus a trained fighter, and it's like everybody talks at the bar when they're drunk. who would win in a fight? Is it a bear or a lion?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like these guys, like Dominic Garrini is, definitely a well decorated, fighter. However, he is also a fucking huge independent wrestling fan of, like the
best
2000s.
Oh yeah, loves everything. Yeah.
Like early IWA Mid-South stuff. Like he loves that
His
time
DVD
frame.
collection is vast.
Oh yeah, I mean this dude probably has 1,000 indie DVDs, and Kaplan don't know shit about indie wrestling. He just knows
I'm a fighter.
that he likes wrestling. Like Kaplan, all Kaplan ever knew was WWE, but
No, ECW also because he owns an FBI shirt.
he loves. That's right. He knew ECW because he loves Little Guido. But
Who doesn't?
he just sent me a text that said he can't wait to party soon.
You got to get him on the podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure. But so these guys, like Kaplan, we have trained him, but I don't know if any of it has fucking like sunk in.
How was that kicked at Warped?
Oh my god, dude! I thought my insides came out of my fucking mouth. Like it was disgusting. Like he is, like I could never be like, hey guys, you should book Kaplan unless it's like the Carnage Cup, because like
He would fit in perfect there.
he is dangerous. Kaplan don't give a fuck either. You know what I mean? Like he knows what he wants to be, and he knows, what he's got to do to be that, and he don't care. Kaplan don't care about wrestling anywhere but AIW. That's a fact. So
Jack.
they just went out and faced the facts. Kurt Hawkins, shout out. But they went out and they fucking killed each other, and it was awesome. I mean, I don't know how the modern fan is gonna like that style.
It's definitely a throwback.
It's definitely dangerous, and it's risky. And I know a lot of people don't like watching stuff like that now. So if you don't like that, skip it. But I loved it, and they fucking killed it. Like it was a spectacle. You couldn't look away.
Oh, the crowd there loved it. If you want to know what we're talking about, obviously buy the DVD, buy the MP4, stream it. I mean, the best way to explain it is these two literally just put two chairs in the middle of the ring at one point in their match and started swinging, taking turns. The show also featured Eric Ryan and Alex Daniels for Alex's Intense title, and
I was disappointed no girls this show.
I'm very sorry. Yeah, and Brian Carson taking on Rex Brody in his new outfit.
Oh, Rex Brody's got some good gear, man.
Which I think we all can agree Rex Brody may now have the best gear in the biz.
Oh, dude, he's like Rex Brody had some shitty gear for a long time, and I think he finally realized it's time to invest in himself. And this dude came with the fucking
Like Evil Knievel.
he
was
went to
awesome.
Mexico. He went to Mexico or something and got some fucking gear. I don't know where he got this shit from, but he looked like $1 million, and that match was fucking great as well. Like I said, it's a different vibe of show, but that doesn't make it a bad show. It's just a whole different kind of mindset going into booking and running those shows.
But I would say they're almost more fun, at least for us, because not this one per se, but they're more fun for us because it is a lower pressure. We're not dealing with a full crowd, and we're not dealing with all the pressure of a Mount Carmel show. That's like a pay-per-view. This is like our TV.
And also, think I want everyone to kind of harass Mike Robles from Smart Mark Video on Twitter to get the footage of when we sent Kaplan and Worldwide out to sell some shots when they were legitimately drunk off their ass already, and Kaplan just decides he's gonna do a moonsault onto nothing.
I was supposed to be onto Worldwide's
pocket.
It was onto Worldwide's jacket because they had already attacked.
And he had
it.
fucking beer bottles in his pocket and got himself all fucking cut up like an idiot.
Sounds about right.
And they went off on a tangent trying to sell shots, and then I don't know like what happened, but that was a spectacle. But I made sure to say don't include that on the DVD.
A lot of stuff got cut out.
That is going to pretty much wrap it up here. The show is called The Season of the Witch. Make sure you check it out on DVD, MP4s, anywhere you can grab it. Make sure you grab it from Smart Mark Video, one of our wonderful partners and sponsors. We also want to thank Angelo's Pizza, who, if you have been to you were at our Double Dare show, because this is airing after that fact, you got yourself
This
some
is it
award-winning Award-winning
I thought we'd
Angelo's
do it
Pizza.
live.
We'll do it live. Not this time. Award-winning Angelo's Pizza. They're on Madison Avenue in Lakewood.
Like I would be up Monday morning at 8:30.
And guys, please buy a DVD or something because we spent a lot of money on this podcast stuff, and we
So
give it
much.
to you, and we give it to you free of charge every single Monday.
Go to shop.aiwrestling.com, smartmarkvideo.com, and even coltmerch.com, but we don't get any of that.
And jackprince.com, one of our other
JAK.
sponsors. JAKprince.com. Any final words there besides?
Yeah, I mean, we're just, we're trying to pay the bills. We, we talked about being broke, and then we fucking dumbly spent $1,000 on podcast equipment when we make no money off of it.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, look.
This is a fucking Biggins purchase impulsively on a Saturday
Thorne
afternoon.
goes, we should shut the podcast down. I go, we can't, man. I just bought all the shit.
This fucking guy, man.
Look, we even gave you folks some bonus material here because we went off the rails a bit. This show longer than usual.
Hey, man, patreon.com, AIW or whatever.
/A wrestling. I mean, I
/A.
still haven't figured out how it works. A little people are mad at me because I just am treating it like a Kickstarter. But give us some money. Give us $1 a month, something. We got about
a lot of rent to pay around this place.
We got about $999 more to go before we pay off this fucking podcast investment Biggins made.
Yeah, I guess I should say if you or someone you know has a business and you would like to sponsor AIW in any way, we can put signs and banners up throughout Mount Carmel when we have shows. So of course, those will be seen on the DVDs, on the YouTube. You can sponsor the
If you
wrap-up
pay my
show.
car payment, I'll wrap my car.
There you go. Biggins will wrap his car. Email me, steve@aiwrestling.com. Talking about being businessmen.
How'd you get an AIwrestling.com email? I still am an AOL, bro.
Man, John Thorne hooked it up.
Man.
I just YouTube how-to video to how to make an email.
There it is. That did it. That's going to do it here for us on AIW's The Card is Going to Change. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks.
I'm going to start editing that thanks out, man.